Continuing from the previous episode 2180. Senior, do it. Xiao Yan's eyes were indifferent, carrying an amber flame, the blood in his body boiled, and the first realm of burning Ju was exerted to the extreme, and he instantly turned into a ferocious flame tiger. The flames burned on his body, which looked completely different from before. In an instant, he crossed the dark realm and blasted away at the throne. He knew that now was one of their few opportunities, and if they were wasted, they would probably fall into dire straits. Zen Staff Buddha Mang, the Zen Master raised his palm and blasted out the Zen Staff containing the Supreme Buddha light. At the same time, he held the golden relic, and roared away at the shadow of the emptiness above the throne with a very tricky attack angle. The offensive of the two is awe-inspiring. I'm afraid that even if they face the Third Order peak reincarnation, they can only be destroyed in peace. Shabu Shabu. The two attacked one after another, but when they touched the throne altar dozens of meters, a thick black magic shield appeared out of thin air. A strip of blood-colored centipedes appeared on the magic shield, and they moved under the gaze of the two, bit by bit nibbling away their attacks. Crack! Xiao Yan and Zen Master's ferocious attacks touched it, without causing any fluctuations. It was easily destroyed, and even where the arms and body touched, a drop of sticky magic energy directly mixed into their bodies, trying to devour them. Minds and control their bodies. Holy Flame Sea, purify me. The black magic liquid was on his body. Xiao Yan's scalp was numb. The breath of death lingered in his heart, and he roared. Fen Ju and several Saint Flame crystals shared the same hatred, and only then did he purify the magic liquid from himself and the Zen Master. This kind of strength is too terrifying. The attack failed. Xiao Yan and the Zen Master stood quietly in the dark realm, their faces solemn. Haha, it's really pleasing to be praised by the Master of the Holy Flame of the Great Thousand Worlds. Crack! With a bang, the cyan chain shattered, and on top of the blood-colored windbreaker, a man with a smile on his face was completely formed, and said with a hearty smile. If you don't look at the blood-colored windbreaker behind him that contains infinite evil power, I'm afraid this man is no different from humans. The blood-colored rays of light on the throne quickly condensed, and it was like a swirl of morning light rippling. When contacted by this breath, Xiao Yan felt that his body suddenly froze, and dizziness struck, as if he was involved in a different time and space. A thin black figure, wrapped in a blood-colored windbreaker, and a looming blood-colored centipede appeared, looking particularly terrifying. Fourth tier? The Zen Master's eyes were cold and he opened his mouth in surprise. 10,000 years ago, this guy was only a third order, but he has reached this stage in 10,000 years. A faint voice came from under the blood-colored windbreaker on the throne. The voice contained an incomparably surging monstrous evil energy and coercion. Under this kind of power, the power of Xiao Yan and the Zen Master instantly dimmed. Master Ziying, an old rival. Today, use your life essence and blood to pay homage to the arrival of the deity. Baxia Dragon King, you have been planning for thousands of years, and today will eventually perish at my feet. Ha ha ha! The harsh demonic sound spread out, and it contained endless murderous aura and hatred. Donor, the sea of suffering is boundless, turning back is the shore. Why are you obsessed with killing evil? The bead on the Zen Master's palm turned, exhorting. Don't worry, today this deity is not only about killing people, but also drinking blood. The sharp voice stimulated the minds of everyone, causing the two of them to be in a trance, and the power in their bodies became sluggish. It has been suppressed for countless years, and it is still so hostile. Today, the Master of Japan's Holy Flame will strangle you here. Xiao Yan sneered indifferently, without a trace of fear, because when Xiao Yan used the Holy Flame attack, the scales of the Underlord emitted a scorching hot breath. That kind of breath and strength echoed this space. Thinking about it carefully, it must be left by the Dragon King Baxia. Obviously, he also anticipated today, so he had plans for a long time. It's just you, merely in the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals? How about controlling the Holy Flame? And die! The blood-colored windbreaker creaked, and blood-colored energy dripped down from it, and even the void along the way couldn't bear this force, and it shattered. The overwhelming blood-colored energy swept in, and with the smashing of the void, the endless aura of evil death was much better, and it was extraordinarily cold. It seems that this dark realm has become gloomy and cold under the appearance of this kind of power. Kill! With a cold snort, the blood-robed centipede Marquis waved his hand, and all the surrounding evil forces blasted away at the two of them. The attacking power was so strong that it was irresistible. Humph! The first stage of burning Jew, burning the foundation. Wheel of holy flame, bloom! The low and loud voice sounded like thunder, setting off countless terrifying waves in this dark realm. Boom! The complete success of Fenju's first stage made Xiaoyan's body even more terrifying, and his control over Shengyan reached the highest level. The amber-colored holy flame quietly attached to Xiaoyan's palm, the void collapsed, and then circles of amber-colored fire wheels spread directly from Xiaoyan's wrist. The fire wheel just spread, and the dark parasites in the whole world hummed and trembled, terrified, and there was a burst of surprise in the eyes of the blood-robed centipede. Btth2. The extreme surging power of purification contained in the amber-colored fire wheel burst out continuously. Although it was laborious, under the watchful eyes of the two of them, the terrifying blow of the blood-robed Hausen was counteracted. In the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals, resisting the attack of the Samsara level? If it wasn't for the two of them intentionally keeping their hands, I'm afraid that all the credit would have to be attributed to Shengyan. In the middle of the 8-star fighting immortals, the holy flame was used so well. It seems that you can't leave it. The face of the blood-robed centipede began to change, and countless blood-colored centipedes fell off from the blood-colored windbreaker, covering the entire space. Hoo-hoo, senior, if you don't make a move, I'm afraid. The holy flame fire wheel in Xiaoyan's hand dimmed slightly, and Xiaoyan immediately raised his head and stared at the throne. His own strength is not enough to resist the blood-clothed centipede. Although the power of the holy flame can make him fearful, if it is a real life and death struggle, it is Xiaoyan who suffers. Pretty sharp boy, it's no wonder that you will get a lot of holy flames, and you will also get the intimacy of the eldest brother's favored son. Xiaoyan's voice fell, the void within the dark realm trembled, and a strange voice stepped out. The figure was faint, but when the sound sounded, the countless dark parasites contained in the surrounding Baxia's body instantly fell off, and the blue divine light descended, covering the void. That sound is shocking. The front of the throne was where the blood-colored windbreaker was located, but at this time, a man in a blue shirt slowly emerged from behind the throne. The man in the blue shirt looked extremely handsome, with a rebellious aura all over his body, and there was a blue turtle shell on his shoulders and back behind him. On his forehead, a tortoise-shaped light mark shines dazzlingly. The tortoise-shaped light seal contains ancient fluctuations, and even at the edge, a cyan dragon shadow is shocking. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2181. Baxia Dragon King? In the void, a cyan energy was constructed into a figure and walked out leisurely. Every step, countless parasites and dark energy collapsed instantly, without any hesitation and struggle. The blood-colored windbreaker buzzing behind the blood-clothed centipede seems to be because of the appearance of the old rival of the Dragon King Baxia, and a deep fear surfaced. The Baxia Dragon King, one of the 9 Dragon Kings of the Dragon Clan, is said to have strength comparable to the 6th reincarnation rank, and his divine might is unrivaled. He once defeated countless evil gangsters in the First World War. After the war was over, he was jointly suppressed by the foreign evil clan. With his 2 Red King steps, he barely suppressed the seriously injured Baxia Dragon King. Countless years have passed, and the other king has long since vanished, leaving only the weakest of the 2, Hausen in blood. It's just a trace of energy, so what if you show up? The combination of your body and origin is the real 6th level. Now, looking at it separately, your strength is only at the 5th level. In addition, the lower level body has already been corroded so badly that the 4th level can't be reached. Quote, how to fight with me? Chi-Chi. The blood-clothed centipede spoke coldly, his voice was extremely flat and not alarmed, but the fear and horror in his words seemed to be even bigger. Blood-clothed centipede, you're right. However, you underestimated my plan and the power of the Holy Flame Controller. The blue-shirted man transformed by the Dragon King Baxia laughed. His voice was indifferent, but it caused the evil power in the blood-robed centipede to tumble. Is it death to this deity? Listening to the words of the Dragon King Baxia, the blood-robed centipede suddenly moved, disappeared on the throne in an instant, the void shattered and twisted, and appeared behind Xiao Yan at the same moment. With a chilling evil spirit, he took the lead, trying to kill Xiao Yan here. CC. With such a terrifying speed, even Xiao Yan was unable to react. Cold sweat broke out on his back, and the amber flames were automatically protected uncontrollably, and the power of the devil was about to move. Die. The blood palm with blood-colored fine lines lingering, like a death god, shot at Xiao Yan. This kind of terrifying power exerted the full strength of the blood-clothed centipede, and I am afraid that the ordinary fourfold reincarnation can only fall down sadly. Blood-clothed centipede, you are too naive. The attack of destroying the sky and destroying the earth came to Xiao Yan and could kill Xiao Yan in a blink of an eye, but Xiao Yan smiled strangely. Xiao Yan's arm was instantly covered with endless dazzling blue dragon scales. He lifted it up, grasped the attack of the blood-robed centipede, and an intriguing gloomy smile was drawn on the corner of his mouth. Are you a human or a ghost? Feeling this familiar aura and voice, the blood-robed centipede hurriedly backed away, but there was confusion in his mind. Suddenly looking up, the figure of the man in the blue shirt above disappeared without a trace. I am the tyrant, and the tyrant is me. Of course, you can also call me a descendant of the Xiao clan. Xiao Yan smashed the blood-colored evil energy at will, and immediately raised his sleeves, but his aura had undergone an earth-shaking change from before, and the man in the blue shirt in the dark realm disappeared cleanly. You actually absorbed that bit of power from the Dragon King tyrant? At this moment, the blood-clothed Hu's expression finally became solemn. Xiao Yan's power was no longer the original 8-star fighting immortal, but worthy of reincarnation. Double reincarnation stage. The energy of the man in the blue shirt left behind by the Dragon King Baxia was injected into Xiao Yan's body, which actually made his strength temporarily reach the second level of reincarnation. With the two double reincarnations, the presence of the Buddha's light and the blessing of the holy flame, the blood-robed centipede's face couldn't help but turn gloomy. Blood-clothed centipede, on behalf of the Dragon King, I will kill you completely today. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, the blue dragon scales on his body continued to overflow. The ancient and vast fluctuations made the blood-robed centipede's face extremely ugly. The cyan tortoise shell behind him bloomed with an endless cyan halo, protecting the two of them from the invasion of dark forces. Xiao Yan raised his palm, and an extremely terrifying aura emerged. Like a terrifying aura that covers the sky and the sun, above Xiao Yan's head, a huge and boundless shadow of the tyrant's soul circling. The power contained in it is indescribable. That level of power not only possessed Xiao Yan's own power, but also contained an indescribable terrifying power. Overpower the power of the Dragon King. The blessing of the two powers makes this level of attack extremely dazzling. It seems that I really underestimate you. But I want to use this method to kill the deity. Just try. The bloody underworld, the blood-colored energy that covered the sky and the sun roared out together, wailing all over the place, suffocating the mind. The Red King rank is really extraordinary. But that's it. The body of the tyrant, wake up! Boom! A deafening voice sounded, and the blue divine light was densely covered, and the entire space became restless. As soon as the voice fell, the soul shadow of Ba Sha above Xiao Yan's head suddenly trembled, and then the speed skyrocketed, flying towards the real Ba Sha's body outside. Even if the two powerhouses of the double reincarnation level join forces today, they may not be able to resist the blood-clothed centipede. Only by fully awakening and controlling the lower body can there be a chance of life. After all, Baxia's body is the body of the Baxia Dragon King. The breath power contained in it can be used to kill a fourth-order blood-clothed centipede, which is naturally not difficult. You bastard! The blood-robed centipede roared, and several kinds of energy evil shadows around his body violently roared out, turning into rushing evil starlights, flickering towards Baxia's soul shadow, trying to prevent it from hitting Baxia's body. After Xiao Yan absorbed that little bit of power, his strength became extremely terrifying. Now he is using the power of the Baxia Dragon King as a guide, trying to awaken Baxia's body. Baxia's body has the terrifying power of destroying the sky and destroying the earth. It took them 2 Red King ranks to barely imprison and seal the seriously injured Baxia Dragon King. Now, if Baxia's body is completely awake, Guang may not be able to handle it with his own fourth order. Thinking of this, countless harsh voices emerged from the surrounding dark realm, and black pillars containing evil lines emerged. Puff puff, the blue-colored Baxia's soul shadow trembled, setting off a huge blue curtain of tens of thousands of feet here, carrying a powerful blow, and roaring away at the countless parasites that were corroding Baxia's body. Above the soul shadow, the azure brilliance is as majestic as a god, and there is a faint whisper of a dragon's roar, and the whole world is completely turbulent. Under this kind of power, the dark parasites attached to Basha's body stretched out unconsciously, and a strong sense of horror emerged. Shabu shabu. Immediately, countless dark currents gathered together, fell off the lower body of the tyrant, and rushed to inject into the blood-colored windbreaker of the blood-robed centipede. Without the gnawing of these dark parasites, Basha's body finally showed a hint of blue light, but some evil aura was obviously left on Basha's body. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2182. Boom! The vast water curtains set off turbulent waves, and the lightning and thunder seemed unusually turbulent, making the residents of the entire UN high continent uneasy, and their eyes were cast towards the sea immortal sect invariably. On the sea surface that has always been calm and calm, countless dark auras and sky-shattering blue lights emerged, as if two peerless beasts were fighting with each other. After a while, the two terrifying water columns ended with a victory of cyan light, and the water surface became quiet, but the continent was surging, and black thunderclouds came out densely. This kind of terrifying scene seemed to have something to do with it. Evil creatures are coming. Such a terrifying thing happened in the lower realm. Naturally, it was discovered by some leisurely powerhouses in the immortal realm. Crack, click. The void of the world below has already been completely suppressed and sealed by the Dragon King tyrant. For this reason, the terrifying confrontation still overflowed with a trace of power, causing the continent to be in a state of extreme panic. Damn, it's a little bit worse. In the dark realm surrounded by Baxia's body, Xiao Yan's body was extremely embarrassed, and there was a trace of bright red blood on the corner of his mouth. This guy's power is too appalling. No matter how majestic he exerts, when he is about to wake up his body, he will be completely killed by the attack of the blood-robed centipede. If it goes on like this, I have no chance to wake up the lower body, let alone deal with the suppression of this Red King. And once failed, the tragic situation faced, even Xiao Yan's heart throbbed, and his fists clenched tightly unconsciously. Senior, Xiao Yan snorted coldly, his dark eyes rekindled with surging fighting intent, and the cyan soul shadow and amber flame on his body were displayed together. The crisp humming sound of flames and the sound of old dragon roars are incessant. Above the illusory energy turtle shell that was attacked by the blood-robed centipede, one after another, more magnificent cyan dragon shadows appeared and injected into it. The combination of dragon and turtle is like a totem holy beast, extremely sacred. Give me a condensate. A dazzling blue halo erupted from the turtle shell behind him, resisting the blood-robed centipede's terrifying killing intent. Xiao Yan's arms burst with blue veins, trying to build the power to awaken the blue dragon shadow on the turtle shell, roaring furiously. Only by awakening the cyan dragon shadow above the energy turtle shell, can this tyrannical body, which has fallen into a deep sleep and been corroded and suppressed, be completely awakened. Boom! The thunderous sound of the dragon roared out, and all the energy Xiao Yan had brewed, with the help of the energy turtle shell, suddenly turned into a huge Dragon King in this void. Dominate the Dragon King. The Baxia Dragon King is different from ordinary dragons. Its cyan turtle shadow is entrenched in winding, and its limbs are depicted with an endless ancient breath. A contempt swept out from the turtle's eyes. However, the limbs of the turtle shadow Dragon King are covered with pieces of blue dragon scales, and the turtle shell on his body exudes endless coldness, cold and strong. Go! With this step, Xiao Yan showed a slight smile at the corner of his mouth, and immediately slapped the palm of his hand heavily. The Dragon King of Turtle Shadow rose up into the air, and countless cyan divine lights shot out sharply, blasting away at the body of the tyrant's lower body at the edge. Under such extreme surging divine power, the entire dark realm was restless and seemed to collapse at any time. Want to wake up Basha's body? You're underestimating me too much. Boundary of blood clothes. The palm of the blood-robed centipede surging, and the scarlet blood print burst out, shooting away at the turtle shadow Dragon King. Ho ho ho! The Turtle Shadow Dragon King whistled towards Ba Sha's body. Facing this attack from the blood-robed centipede, the turtle shadow swelled up and looked incomparably sturdy, and the turtle's eyes flickered with a horrified aura, contempt. Peefed. When the two touched, the attack was submerged, and it turned into countless energy ripples. Not good. Break down the body. The blood-clothed centipede watched the countless blue light threads falling around him, and even a long and heavy breath came to his senses. His pupils sunk suddenly, and his sharp voice was particularly harsh. Bingo! Seeing the panic-stricken blood-robed Hu Zun, Xiao Yan let out a relieved smile. Immediately, his body moved, and he came to the edge in an instant. His palm suddenly grasped the cyan turtle shell. With this grip, the blue tortoise shell of Ba Sha's body shrank rapidly, lingering on Xiao Yan's arm, but a surging force, like the breath of the terrifying waves gushing out from the abyss, was extremely surging. Above the cyan-colored tyrant's lower body, one after another dragon shadows emerged, and the dragon shadows appeared cyan all over the body, but the cyan dragon scales all over his body were like living creatures, exuding an incomparably majestic and terrifying aura. Separate the holy flame, come out! With a big wave of Xiao Yan's hand, he summoned the amber flames. Suddenly, the amber flames slowly dispersed, and the 5 flames of each color quietly filled the space. The power of fused holy flames is not bad, but on the contrary, their powers are noisy with each other. To deal with foreign evil races, only by separating holy flames and using the most primitive holy flames' respective source powers can it be possible to completely suppress them. 5 holy flames? Seeing the strange flames that surrounded Xiao Yan like 5 petals, the blood-robed centipede's pupils turned out to be filled with an astonishing chill, and his voice became trembling. How could such a precious holy flame in such 1,000 worlds actually appear 5 on a human boy? With the power of the 5 holy flames added to the lower body, the aura in the blood-robed centipede couldn't help but be frightened. Death to this deity! Seeing Xiao Yan's terrifying attack, the blood-robed centipede roared, the *** aura roared out, and endless power emerged to suppress Xiao Yan. Donor, the sea of suffering is boundless, turning back is the shore. Put down the butcher knife and become a Buddha on the spot. While speaking, the Zen master's body burned. All the power of reincarnation and the golden Buddha's light flourished, all merged into the relic, and blasted away at the blood-robed centipede. Senior righteousness. Xiao Yan looked at the righteousness of the Zen master. When the attack on the palm of his hand was intensifying and brewing, his body burned with determination, and a strange flame cauldron emerged, controlling the 5 holy flames, and pouring into the lower body of the tyrant. For a while, the 5-colored holy flame candles beat violently in the originally empty lower body. When the 5-colored flames penetrated into Ba Sha's body, the old aura spread out along with the sacred power of the holy flame, terrifying power, instantly destroying all the dark parasites left here. Blood clothes, eat the sky! The blood-robed centipede faced the Zen master's life-threatening blow. His whole body trembled violently, and then the blood-colored windbreaker roared, and the entire body turned into a huge evil shadow that exceeded 1,000 feet. That is the blood-colored evil centipede, the centipede. However, the evil centipede transformed by the blood-robed Hu Zun has just appeared in a sea of blood tumbling all over its body. Crack! The golden relic is infinitely powerful, and it is as brilliant as the scorching sun and burns away at the evil centipede. Unfortunately, when it is close to the latter, 100 feet surging, the brilliance of the golden relic is rapidly weakening, and a feeling of fragmentation follows. Crack! The blood shadow centipede burst into a sky-shattering ray of blood, hitting the golden relic directly. The golden relic was like a bleak star, buzzing, and it actually shattered after it breathed. Zen Master, he died, but he bought enough time for Xiao Yan. Master of the Holy Flame. Now it's your turn. After the Zen Master's life-threatening blow was resolved, the blood-colored centipedes surged in unison, turning the ceiling barrier of the 10,000-meter sea area upside down, with faint traces of shattering. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2183. Next, let's end it again. Holy Flame, obey the call of this seat. Take down your body and obey my orders. Follow me. Kill this demon with a trace. The Zen Master fell, and the body and spirit were destroyed, but Xiao Yan didn't have time to think about it. The five-color holy flame above the turtle shell became more and more intense. Everything, the combination of the sacred flame and the blue energy of the lower body, like a halo of destruction, bloomed. Boom! Looking at Xiao Yan's terrifying offensive, the blood-colored centipede roared up to the sky, the void shattered, and a thick dark tide surged, which actually completely blasted this place. In Baxia's body, there are 5 positions on the head and limbs, which correspond to Xiao Yan's 5 holy flames one by one. Each of the 5 flames occupies a corner. The surging flames beat violently, burning all the evil in the world. Finally, the 5 energy parts of the lower body were formed abruptly. The real body of Baxia, constructed from flame energy, completely woke up. In this flame tortoise shell, there was a terrifying power that moved the heavens and the earth. Crack, click. Let the blood-robed centipede perform such a tyrannical attack, but it is easily annihilated outside the tortoise-shaped flame furnace. Obviously at this moment, the chances of winning the blood-robed centipede are very slim. Want to run? Seeing that the real body of Ba Sha had such terrifying power, Xiao Yan was extremely excited, but he turned his head to see the blood-colored centipedes escaping around. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but trace a long-lost relief, and immediately laughed. Boy, don't be mad. Tai Ben respects the whole team. I'm here to clean you up. The blood-colored centipede roared, and immediately its body sank into the dark undercurrent, escaping toward the depths of the sea. The 5 holy flames have different origins, but they act on their own evil power, like a red-hot iron sticking *** the skin. That feeling makes one's soul uplifted. There is also the power to dominate the lower body, the turtle-shaped furnace formed by the mutual blessing of the two, the power contained in it. I am afraid that I have no chance of winning now. Don't worry, you can't escape. The flame tortoise shadow furnace in front of Xiao Yan was shining brightly, the heads and feet formed by the energy of the flames protruded together, and endless terrifying power emerged. Wong buzzing, the voice fell, and countless cyan radiance radiated from the top of the lower body of the tyrant, and the piercing cyan radiance rose up, imprisoning the entire sea space. It seems that under this power, the power of the blood-robed centipede is rapidly weakening. Domination. The escape route was blocked. The cyan brilliance and the bright flame breath made the blood-colored centipede have no choice but to return without success. The corners of its mouth were hideous, and the anger swept out. You can't run away. Xiao Yan controlled Ba Sha's real body and slowly forced this guy to go away. The two were fighting, and naturally he didn't plan to let this guy go. Baxia. The power of the Dragon King. Let me fall and do this again. At this moment, under the light of the cyan halo and holy flame, Xiao Yan's body actually became illusory, a terrifying body, like stepping through the endless starry sky. Lingering behind Xiao Yan, the tortoise-shaped flame furnace was extremely gorgeous and destroyed. Sexual volatility is just around the corner. Breakthrough. Feeling this near-destruction wave, the blood-colored centipede snarled violently, its *** mouth roared, and the endless evil aura spewed out, turning into an evil blood column that exceeded 10,000 feet, carrying its ferocious power and blasting away at Xiao Yan. Wong buzzing. The second attack left his hand, but the blood-colored centipede was wrapped by the tyrannical body wrapped in holy flames, causing the blood-colored centipede to solidify in the void. The two attacks stalemate each other. It seems that no one can resist the other for a while. A cyan figure appeared behind Xiao Yan in the distance. After this figure appeared, the palms of the two were clenched at the same time, forming a fist shape. Above the fist, a tortoise-shaped scale shone with bright blue light, blooming with a faint wave of destruction. On the cyan tortoise-shaped scales on the fist, a cyan dragon shadow appeared. Looking closely, it looked exactly the same as Baxia's body. Wong buzzing. Xiao Yan seemed to have fallen into some kind of mysterious state. The fourth transformation of the dragon god was instantly displayed, and half of his body was fried and turned into a dragon. But in the blink of an eye, Xiao Yan was not only half dragon, but his entire body was bathed in cyan light at the same time, and his body actually turned cyan, with traces of cyan energy flowing like blood, and above his skin, the blue dragon scales exploded. This kind of power, this kind of fluctuation is more powerful than the previous scales. How can it be? You can actually control the power of the tyrant Dragon King? A low roar gushed out from the mouth of the blood-colored centipede, and countless voids collapsed at the same time. Baxia, Dragon God's Claw. The green light illuminates the world, distorting the world, and there is a faint sound of roaring dragon roars. Countless voids, countless energies quietly crawled down, respectfully facing Xiao Yan, above the air barrier, exuding extremely respectful awe. The power of the Dragon King under the tyrant. The shock was shock, but the blood-colored centipede did not hold any hands, and the whole body became deep, and instantly broke free from the shackles of the real body. Vigorous, it makes people's minds become distorted. From a distance, it looked like a round of black holes, exuding an extremely crazy evil power. Obviously, he also smelled the real wave of death from the current Xiao Yan. Blood-clothed centipede, die. Xiao Yan whistled softly, and suddenly the power in the entire realm became turbulent, and countless crazy fluctuations emerged. On Xiao Yan's body, the cyan dragon scales contained extremely terrifying fluctuations, and the whole person was extremely violent. A turtle-shaped body above his fist contained a monstrous offensive, and a cyan dragon shadow crawls out. Link to www.novelmtl.com. Bang bang. The fist opened, and a giant cyan claw instantly formed. The shadow of the cyan claw fell, the void shattered, and instantly intertwined with the blood-colored centipede. The energy ripples that destroyed the sky and the earth, the blood-blue two-color light, like two meteorites collided, and completely exploded, and the terrifying aura that was enough to annihilate all things directly tore the madness of this sea area. Tens of thousands of feet of turbulent waves ripped apart the void, and the entire sea tumbled into chaos. Whoa! No matter how majestic the attack, in the end, it did not cause any attack on Xiao Yan. The blue-colored lower body was blessed by holy flames, protecting every inch of Xiao Yan's skin. Ended. Xiao Yan gritted his teeth, and the azure dragon claws roared out, with a sentence that surpassed the most powerful force of the Scarlet Centipede. Coupled with the power of Schengen and the Dragon King, this guy had no power left, and was completely killed by Xiao Yan. It's finally over. After strangling the blood-colored centipede, and then erasing all the remaining evil creatures under the 10,000-meter space in this sea area, the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth was relieved. He took down his body and finally got his hands on it, and this guy was also killed under his own power. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2184. Boom! The deafening sound surged around in this undercurrent, stirring all the energy here. Even if the blood-colored centipede fell, it would cost a lot of money to burn and purify his remaining power. After all, it was the Red King rank. Xiao Yan's body is now deficient in fighting qi. Obviously, he has just been blessed with so much power, and erasing the Red King rank also drained all his power, but fortunately, he has the protection of the lower body. What is the effect of inflammation? After all, Baxia's body is a part of the Baxia Dragon King, and it is enough to resist the attacks of powerhouses below the 4th level of reincarnation. Without any pause, Xiao Yan hurriedly seized the time and tried his best to recover his vindictive energy. After that, he kept these energies a little quieter, and he still had to go deeper to find something vital. The core of the plane. Simply this time, Yuan High Continent has gained a lot, and by chance, he obtained the body of Baxia and the real dragon transformation of the Dragon King of Baxia. As for Baxia's body, after he was seriously injured in the battle of heaven and earth, he was sealed by 2 Red Kings together. One was the 5th level rank, and the other was the blood-clothed centipede. On the other side, above the immortal sect of Yuan High Continent, a white figure gracefully emerged from the clouds in the sky, looking solemnly at the sea below. Who is it? Actually doing nonsense on my fairyland? If you disturb such a huge movement, I'm afraid the people who come here are not good. As soon as the voice fell, the figure's speed skyrocketed, with a touch of energy protection on its body, and it quickly went towards the bottom of the sea. However, judging from the breadth and origin of this guy, I am afraid that he is undoubtedly a person from the fairyland. As for the sea area of Yuan High Continent, the turbulent waves continued to emerge, causing countless human beings to sigh. Below, the terrifying energy ripples from the battle between the two lasted for dozens of minutes before it subsided. If it wasn't for the suppression by the enchantment seal, I am afraid that the fluctuations here would have been discovered by the immortal realm great expert and come to suppress it. Having a lower body is really a good thing. Xiao Yan looked at the tortoise shell surrounding his body. The cyan dragon shadow was looming, showing terrifying fluctuations. Even after the battle just now, Baxia's body was not damaged in any way. Even with the baking of Xiao Yan's holy flame, the evil forces that invaded into it were completely wiped out, leaving the lower body intact as before. But hurry up, Xiao Yan reluctantly recovered 10% of his vindictive energy, and then his mind moved, and he controlled Baxia's body to go further down. Naturally, he could not forget the main purpose of this time, the core of the plane. As for Baxia's body, it was entirely due to good luck, but after this battle, Xiao Yan's fourth dragon *** became a half-dragon, and became a real dragon. Order, even the complete control of Fenju's first-level realm. If you have to go back and observe more, the power will be doubled. But it is a pity that the kind of terrorist attack that Baxia's power just displayed, Baxia Dragon's Claws, he has not learned. Otherwise, once the attack is used, the attacking power is very strong, which is rare in the world. That is the exclusive skill of Baxia, which is a pity. The lower body of the tyrant is full of green awns, shaped like a turtle shell, and there is a cyan dragon shadow on it, which is extremely sturdy and quite impressive. Wang buzzing, Xiao Yan controlled Ba Xia's body and descended a distance of several hundred meters towards the bottom, suddenly stopped, and some dark soil appeared in Xiao Yan's line of sight. Squeak. Is it the end? But you haven't seen any traces of the core of the plane? Xiao Yan looked around, but did not see any traces of the core of the plane, and even Han Tianhao himself didn't know what the core of the plane was, so I'm afraid Xiao Yan would need to explore by himself. Shush. Baxia's body is very spiritual, and it emits a hot breath, as if reminding Xiao Yan that something exists below. What is this? Xiao Yan came to the bottom of the sea 10,000 meters, and saw a slightly raised part in the layer of dark mud, controlling Baxia's body to approach the past. What a rich energy! Could this be the core of the plane? Xiao Yan moved gently and wiped away the dark silt, revealing a yellow plant. The two small leaves seemed to have tooth tips sprouting in the center, but there was an extremely mysterious and ancient wave lingering around them. Xiao Yan was extremely surprised by that power. Wang buzzing. When Xiao Yan touched his palm, countless energy fluctuations emerged in the entire sea area, turning into a black hole around the body of the yellow plant, absorbing all the energy here continuously. Absorbing these powers, the yellow grass slowly turned towards the silver light. It turned out to be because of the existence of the tyrannical body and the powerhouses of the extraterritorial evil race, which covered the growth of the core of the plane. Eat, let's eat. After absorbing these energies and entering the maturity stage, you can be brought back. Xiao Yan smiled helplessly. Is this the aura of an alien race? A few minutes later, the white figure came to the place where Xiao Yan was fighting, and looked at the messy void and couldn't help but be surprised. With a sharp sense of smell, he sensed a trace of the evil aura that disappeared soon. As for the aura of the Dragon King, there was nothing left by Xiao Yan, so this guy couldn't detect it at all. As soon as the voice fell, the white figure shot directly towards the lower part, and a wave of terrifying fluctuations also emerged. If you look closely, its strength is actually reincarnation. In the dark sea of 10,000 feet, Xiao Yan quietly waited for the core of the plane to mature, but a white figure came quickly. What's going on? Xiao Yan watched the recovery of the core of the plane while watching out for this dark sea. His indifferent eyes swept across the sea. In the originally quiet sea, although the sea still seemed calm and there was no crisis, Xiao Yan's keen sense of smell and huge soul force felt something was wrong. It seems that some creatures broke into the space here. It's not advisable to stay here for a long time. Xiao Yan wondered and was unable to perceive the source of the danger. He could only speed up the energy absorbed by the plane core and try to leave earlier. Suddenly, just as Xiao Yan wondered, in the turbulent river in this dark sea area, silver light clusters like stars were looming. The silver light group is like a star hanging in the sky, blooming with extremely terrifying power. Go! Xiao Yan felt extremely uncomfortable, flicked his fingers, and lingered his own flames, trying to find out. Peefed! Peefed! Xiao Yan's seemingly simple attack just touched the faint silver light group, and it suddenly touched violently, and a ripple of energy appeared. No, it's a formation. Xiao Yan was secretly surprised, and hurriedly got up and prepared to leave, but looking at the core of the plane that had not yet recovered, his expression couldn't help but turn ugly. Bold monster, why are you coveting my fairy world treasure? The treasure will come out, otherwise this immortal won't be able to spare you. A white shadow appeared, and a jade sword was raised and pointed at Xiao Yan. The fierce sword energy made the void buzzing. At the same time, those silver light clusters also emerged, forming a shining array of light. Completely enveloped here. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL.